guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. Now first thing first, I want to wish everyone watching a very happy and spooky Halloween. Remember to drink responsibly on Halloween weekend, by the way. But yes, today I'm dressed up as a ghost and that's why my face cam isn't here. So please enjoy this very low budget Halloween costume as I dress up as a ghost today. But anyway, today's video, I want to go through every single prize card that has been released since the beginning of Top Drives. I want to say like 99% every single prize card. If I missed out on one, and if you were able to catch on the fact that I missed out on one prize card, first of all, you'd be a bigger Top Drives nerd than I am. But second of all, also let me know down in the comments below. But anyway, today is going to be every single prize card. I'm going to tell you the date, or you're going to see the date that they came out, the requirements, kind of just, you know, a nice little prize card history, a little Top Drives history today. Now, I've done a video like this before, but that was not with me talking. This time, I'm going to be talking and commentating throughout every single one, giving you my opinions on how I felt about how each final went for me. So this might be a pretty long video, and this might be bad news for people that don't like to hear me talk, but it might be good news for people that like to hear me talk, because the last one was very chill. There was no commentary whatsoever, or at least there were very little. So, starting this off is October 16, 2017, the first prize card ever dated that I could find, the BMW M3 GTS. Now, this thing has came out, I think, 3 times now, and this is the first time that we're seeing it, the first ever prize card release. Requirements 3 times BMW, simple times. So we're going to see a lot of simple times here with the requirements. Now, this is the next one over here, October 22nd, 2017, Suzuki Pikes Peak XL7 times 4 Suzuki. That was it. And also down here, I'll put did I win it, and this time is yes or no. Most of these are no. Honestly, all of these 2017 cars, this is me in like my free-to-play phase. I got Top Drives the first week it released, but obviously I didn't spend money right away. Obviously, you gotta test the waters, and I was like 17 when I downloaded this, so I didn't have a lot of money. So I still don't have a lot of money now, anyway. But you know, I had to test the waters. I'll be like, oh, is this a game I'm gonna be playing for a long time? Is it worth investing in? So this was my free-to-play phase. I didn't win any of these cars. The first legendary? Yeah, the first, I already forgot what was the, oh yeah, it was Pikes Peak, never mind. Yeah, the second legendary, DVR Subaru Speed 12. It was a free-for-all, this one, pretty interesting. Did I win it? No, November 2nd, 2017. The next one that came out was the first time the Chevrolet Corvette Z06. Date awarded was November 25th, 2017. Requirements were times 5 Chevrolet. I did not win it, but this was the first like Tri-Series final where I got really close. This is where I started to get somewhat competitive with Top Drive. This is, you know, it's been like, I don't know, I downloaded it in September, so it's been a couple of months. It's been about 2 months since I started playing. I finished the campaign at this time, and I had a couple of epics in my garage. I had 2 Camaro Z28s, one from a pack, the other one was from the campaign, and the Stingray was also from the campaign. That's actually a pretty good hand, to be honest, for 2017 standards, but the only reason why I did not win it was because I didn't have the epics maxed. I think I had 2 Z28s maxed, but the Corvette was actually 1-star, I believe, and the ultra rares, you know, they weren't the best ones in the book anyway. So no, I did not win it, but I was very close. This was like my closest taste to a prize card, November 25th, 2017. So moving on now is the Carrera GT, December 11, 2017. The requirements are times 5 Porsche. Did I win it? No. What is so momentous about this Porsche Carrera, however, is this is the birth of my YouTube channel. My first ever Top Drives, oh, well, not really the birth, but the birth of the Top Drives era on my YouTube channel, because before that, I posted like, what, 3 TF2 videos, a couple Left 4 Dead stuff, that kind of stuff. But yeah, the Porsche Carrera GT, the first Top Drives video I ever posted was my, I think it was the prelim, either the prelim or the finals prizes for the Porsche Carrera GT, and I was opening it in my school bathroom as I was taking a break from AP Statistics, so that was pretty funny. I did not get close to this one though. I think I ended like pretty far off, like mid-tier or something. No, I'm not that far off, I think, because I know I got tier 2. Tier 2 at the time wasn't the prize card. Tier 2 at the time was basically an epic, and I think I got like a Porsche Cayman or something like that. So moving on to December 24th, one day of Christmas, it was 3 times Mitsubishi. Once again, I did not win it. This was the first time the Lancer Evo 8 was released. Obviously, I won it on the second time, but we'll get to that when we get to that. And now we talk about money moves, baby. Date awarded January 7th, 2018. The requirements were times 5 Porsche, and yes, I won it. My location of victory was Bellevue Square. I remember I was winning, I was playing the event while my friends were getting Gogurt, and they were like, yo, Louis, you want to get some Gogurt? And I was just like, nah, man, I'm playing Top Drives. And they're like, is that the car game you've always been playing nowadays? And I'm just like, Yes. But this was the hand that I used, and as you can see, it's pretty surprising. I had 3 not even super rares, because back in 2018 the 911 2.7 was rare, and I think it handled a little less, and I think it had low ground clearance, something of the sort, or maybe a lower top speed. It was rare back in the day, and it had 2 legendaries. Now this is where I started opening packs. I started opening packs during the time of the Evo, during Christmas, because I got all of the Christmas deals back in 2017. By the way, Christmas deals in 2017, you will never see deals like those again. They were so cheap. If you want to check them out, you have to check the catacombs of my channel for that one. You have to scroll all the way down, find my 2017 videos, and find the Black Friday one. I got the Porsche Panamera Turbo from that one, and I got the Porsche 911 GT2 RS from a couple weeks before, I think, Black Friday. But yeah, it was an off-road final. And it was basically a final meant for, and I love this final, by the way, because it was a final meant for like the Macans and the Cayennes. But then everyone in my bracket was like, you know what, let's just all hold hands and say, F that. We don't want to even try and get those legendary off-roaders, because there were a lot of legendary Porsches, right? So the odds of getting the off-road ones are very low. We're just going to be like, you know what, let's just play who has the most standard tire Porsches. And that was literally it. It was very fun, but I didn't win in the end. My first ever Tri-Series prize car, one with 3 rares, by the way. And then back to back, because the M3 GTS came back on the 21st of January, ×5 requirements, and yes, I did win it this time. And fun fact about this one, not only was the M3 GTS the prize, the tier 1 prize, which I also secured, gave you a ×5 carbon fiber. So I remember getting 3 epics. The same day I got the M3 GTS was the same day I got my Ford SVT Raptor. So yeah, they are the same days old if you check them in my garage. Now, next one was the Mercedes AMG SLS GT3. The first time it came out was February 5th, 2018. The requirements were ×5 Mercedes. Did I win it? No. Did I want to win it? Yes, but I don't think I was even close. And then obviously it came back literally again the week following, February 9th, 2018. It was ×5 Mercedes, and once again it was no. It was called a second chance event, but this time I did a little better than the first time. I think the first time I got tier 3, but the second time I got tier 2, and it got me the Mercedes 6x6, I believe. Yeah, second chance event, that's what it was. Next up was the first time for the Jaguar Project 8, February 25th, 2018. Yes, fun fact, the Jag update released when I was in Heathrow. I was actually in London on the day the Land Rover Jaguar update dropped. Remember that? You know, us OGs will remember. It was ×4 Jaguar, ×1 Land Rover. I wasn't in Heathrow the day that this was awarded, but I was in the day. I wasn't in Heathrow on the day the car was awarded, but I was in Heathrow on the day the update dropped. And I remember my friend was playing Top Drives with me at the time. He quit. He quit a long time ago. He opened the new Jaguar packs and he got the XJ13, and I went crazy. I was like, dude, I really want that car. Luckily, I have it already. So that was pretty cool. Just things worked out that way. That was kind of poetic. Next one was February 25th, 2018. There was a Range Rover Sport SVR. The requirements, once again, just diving into that Land Rover Jaguar niche. We really don't do that anymore. We don't get, you know, updates which are just based off, you know, a couple of manufacturers. I mean, we do. It's just that it's not called that way anymore. They just give it like an interesting name, because when you think about it, the JPT one, they could have just called it Nissan and Subaru update, let's be real. Next up was March 25th. So there's a pretty big gap between February and March, a price car to price car. I'm not sure if I missed anything, but all I could find was the Rover and then the 211. It was ×5 Lotus. I did not win it. I would love for it to come back, but the problem is it's an epic, so the odds of that coming back is really low. But talking about epics that come back, the Metro came back. This is the first time it came out, April 29th, 2018. It was 2 times MG, 3 times Vauxhall. Yeah, those are the requirements, by the way. 2 times MG and 3 times Vauxhall. Like, I think, like, it maxed out at like ultra rare or something. Like, that was a crazy final, a crazy final. Now May 31st, 2018 was the first time of the Pagani Zonda. A lot of these are going to be first times because this is the game still starting to get, you know, kicking. The requirements were ×5 Italian, ×3 Alfa Romeo, and I did not win that, nor did I want to. And then The big one, the summer update, the summer prize car, June 13th, 2018, the requirements with times 5 Porsche. It's been about, when you think about it, since the M3 GTS, it's been about half a year since I've won a prize car in 2018, but this was something that I could not give up. The Porsche 918 Spider is still one of my dream cars today. It was my dream cars back in the day as well. 2018, especially during the summer, and like May, June, July 2018 was some of the best years or some of the best moments of my life. This was when I graduated from high school. Obviously in the final months I was done with my exams, so we were just seniors having fun and just eating food and going to parties. It was the best. Like 2018, June, May, July, some of the best times of my life. Obviously location of victory was DL 5822. That's a Delta flight from Seattle, Orange County, because as you guys know, I won this prize car on a plane. I was going to LA, well, Orange County, Anaheim to be specific, because the boys and I were going to Disneyland. Dude, come on, win the 918, go to Disneyland. You got the 2-part pass, you got fast passes for days. You've been saving up for a nice ass hotel. It was a good time. I want to go back to that time. And yes, this is where I start to remember hands that I use. This is a hand that I'll always remember. I'll never forget it. This was back then in 2018, you could use prize cars to win other prize cars. So I could use the GT1 road car. Unfortunately, those days are over. So, man, I really miss those days, bro. But yeah, the Porsche 911 GT1 road car won me a prize car. Can't say that ever again. The 911 Carrera S, the Panamera Turbo, 911 Turbo, and the 911 GT2 RS. The Epic was maxed. And then I think the Panamera and 911 were both 1-star. And the Porsche 911 GT2 was 112. And yeah, so 4 legendaries and an epic. That was a really good hand. Bugatti Top Drives was in my bracket for that one too. That was back when I wasn't even strategizing over when to join events. I would just join them right away. Next up, sorry, I just totally went past that. August 5th, 2018, times 5 Mazda. It was the Porsche 959 Dakar. Did not win that, obviously with Mazda. Back then, by the way, here in 2018, I have spent money on the game already, and it was a pretty occasional, I would say, but I definitely wasn't a pay to win at that time yet. I would say semi pay to win by 2019, full-blown pay-to-win by 2020. So date awarded was August 19, 2018. The requirements were times 5 Ford. I did not win it. Now, this was back in 2018 when most of the Fords and top drives were British. Now, I think with American Frontier, I would say the majority of the best Fords in the game are American. But back then, there wasn't really much to use. I can't believe I didn't win this, actually, because I had 2 Ford GTs by the time this came out. So I'm surprised. Maybe it was 5 times Ford, 5 times British. Maybe it was a British Ford event. I don't know. But moving on now, September 2nd, 2018, it was the Caterham RS Levante. A lot of people are saying that this car is going to come back. It might even be the next rerun prize car. I can definitely see that. It is now a super light killer after the recent buff. The requirements were times 5 Mercedes, and I did not win it. There were a lot of times 5 Mercedes finals. We're going to see another one later in a bit, and I win that one as well. Next one was the rerun of the Suzuki Pikes Peak. Now, I think this is the first rerun for a legendary prize car outside of the M3 GTS, and I guess if you say technicality, okay, first time it really came back, because the Mercedes obviously had a immediate second chance event, but that was a one-off thing. We'll never see that ever again. So this is the first of the traditional reruns. September 23rd, 2018, times 5 Nissan. Corn, you would have loved this if you were playing at the time, but I did not win it as well. Now, next up was the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, an RQ80 prize car. Yes, this was a tri-series. It was times 5 1990s, and I did not win that. And then following that was the Mazda 787B, October 21st, 2018, and this was the introduction of American Dream. Did not win this. I really wanted to, not because I like the 787B, it's because I like American Dream. But for the longest time, I couldn't pull a legendary from the update. I think it was October. No, I pulled my first Viper ACR Hollywood. I think it was, I want to say August 2019. So a year later, basically. Did not win the 787B. This was when I started going into uni as well in Syracuse. November 4th, 2018, we saw the Jaguar XJ220. It was times 5 Mitsubishi. Did not win that. Bunny would love to see that these days. Unfortunately, we don't see those kind of events anymore where the requirements are just times 5 of a manufacturer. Or at least it's not as often as it used to be and constant. November 18, 2018, Porsche Cayenne Turbo. It was 2 times Subaru, 3 times Infiniti that I wouldn't know, and the wrecks were absolute garbage. And this was Subaru before JPT, by the way. That was like Subaru when they had nothing. Now, December 2nd, 2018, first time of the Nissan GTR Nismo. Requirements are times 5 Jaguar, and I did not secure the bag. Following that was the Porsche Carrera GT. It was a rerun event. December 23rd, 2018, one of my best friend's birthdays. 5 times Italian that I wouldn't know, and you know, I get it, but you know, very late. I get it like what, in 2021? About the same time as basically most of you watching. Date awarded January 6, 2019, the Subaru Impreza 22B. Sad Leo noises. I think this was around the time Leo started playing Top Drives. I might be wrong here. It might just be the time he started playing, but he does not have this, and I know he wants to get it. 3 times Lotus, 2 times Vauxhall. I mean, when you have Vauxhall in a Tri-Series final requirement, you know it's a recipe for disaster. That I wouldn't know. Fun fact, I was playing soccer when the event ended. That is true. Now, next up, this one was the one. This was the big one right here. If I did not win this, I would have quit the game. I've said it so many times. Sometimes I feel like I say it to add dramatic effect, but honestly, the way my life was going in 2019, I probably would have quit if I did not win the demon. This was life or death for me. So date awarded January 20th, 2019. The requirements were 5 times American Dream, 4 times Chevy. Did I win it? Absolutely. Location of victory, my dorm. This thing was just ridiculous, man. I needed to win this. And the MVP here was definitely the Chevrolet Tahoe Custom. 100% the Chevrolet Tahoe Custom. My entire hand was maxed, by the way. All 3 epics were absolutely maxed. Moving on now is the Camaro ZL11LE, one of my highest highs, followed by one of my lowest lows. This is my saddest final. What made it even more sad was not only that I loved the car and I ended 11th, or no, it was 9th, I think, back in the day, February 3rd, 2019. What was even more, I guess, salt to the wound would be the requirements. It was times 5 Porsche. My Porsche hand was incredibly strong. I won the 918 with times 5 Porsche. What really effed me over, besides, you know, the guy that was targeting me in this event, was the Porsche revamp. I had one of the strongest Porsche collections in the OG Porsche collection, but then the revamp came and it introduced cars like the RSR, the 962, the 917. I didn't have any of those, and I still don't. I only have the RSR, but I don't have the 962. I don't have the 917. I've never pulled them. It pulled the, you know, the Porsche revamp brought in the new GT2 RS, the new GT3 RS. I couldn't pull them either. I think it was the 991 generation. But yeah, I couldn't pull those either. So, you know, I fell through, and it really sucked. I went into this event still with 4 legendaries, upgraded legendaries, but I couldn't win it. Honestly, when you think about it, this was incredibly tough competition for an epic prize car. Moving on now is going to be the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, and this is where I bounced back. I won this February 17th, 2019. The requirements, once again, times 5 Mercedes. Though you look at my hand, it wasn't particularly very strong. It's just that Mercedes wasn't a very popular manufacturer back in 2019. It still isn't now because Mercedes hasn't gotten a revamp. But yeah, this was my hand. It was 1 legendary, 1 epic with max handling, and then the rest of it were ultra rares. The rain kind of helped me because I could use the C350E. Moving on now is going to be the Porsche Cayman GT4. This was times 5 Dodge, and yeah, I didn't win it. This was my hand. It was a final where there weren't any drags. It was made for the Vipers, but like I said, I don't pull a Viper until around, I think, August of 2019, so 5 months from now. So yeah, this is what I had. I didn't have the wide body. The Charger wasn't in the game at the time yet, I believe, because the Charger came in with French Renaissance. So that was what I got. It wasn't the best, and it's not like all 5 of them were max. If all 5 of them were max, I would have won the Porsche, but like, Why would I max 5 epics for an epic Porsche? Moving on now, March 18, 2019 is the Corvette ZR1. It was ×5 Motorsport. Can you imagine that today? Did I win it? No, and I forgot in my hand. Next up on the list is the Bugatti Veyron. This was a Cadillac event. If I remember correctly, I was pretty close to getting this one too, but I fell just short. Next up, April 14, 2019. Yes, this is when French Renaissance dropped. It was for the SCG. I really wanted it, but since the requirements for French cars, I had absolutely no chance. And then, ironically, the rerun of the Project 8, April 28, 2019, ×5 Driver's Choice. It was the first and last time we ever saw Driver's Choice, isn't it? Location of victory, Destiny, USA. It's just a shopping mall. Next up, I remember I was eating dinner with my friend at the time. I think we were about to go see a movie? What movie? I totally forgot though. It might have been Endgame, maybe? That time? April? Might have not been. I don't know. Could have been Bumblebee. I'm not sure anymore. Next one though was May 12, 2019 for the Citroen BX4TC. ×5 German saloons, and I did not win it. My hand, God knows, man. No idea. May 26th, first time of the Chrysler ME412. ×5 UK rear-wheel drive. Fun fact, CMG did win this, I think. This was his first Tri-Series prize car, if I remember correctly. Now, next up on the list was the rerun for the Porsche 918 Spider. It was 5 times French Renaissance, so I had no chance. 2 times DS as well. Did I win it? I already had it, so it wasn't much of a problem. Fun fact was that this was my first owner's challenge and got destroyed because back in the day, 2019, June 23rd, there were no owners challenges. They just put you in an owners event for a legendary prize car. It was basically just a final, but instead of the 918, it was just another legendary prize car. And I think it was like an RQ85 Porsche GT3, which was the prize for the 918 for the owners. And since it was ×5 French Renaissance, and I was racing against a bunch of whales that won this the first time, yeah, you could see how that was going. I think I ended up like 1 in 22 or something. I knew I was dead last in that bracket, like dead last. It was like, I was like 500th or something like that, or maybe 100th or 300th. I forgot how big the bracket was. All I know is that I was dead last. Next one is the Peugeot 405 T16. I think this is Leo's first ever Tri-Series win. July 7th, 2019, ×5 BMW, and I finished 12th on this one. This was very close. Now, next up on the list, this is summer of 2019, the Alfa Romeo 8C, July 21st, 2019, ×5 German Renaissance, and I did not win that as well, nor did I want to. This one kind of stung. I didn't win it the first time, but then again, I wasn't as competitive back then as I am now. But yeah, August 4th, 2019, ×5 2010 convertibles. I did not win that. This was when I moved to New York, when I transferred to NYU, but still did not win that because I wasn't as competitive at the time. Moving on now is the Cadillac CTS-V. August 18, 2019, requirements for 5 times BMW. Did I win it? No, I did not. I would have liked to win those 2 cars, though, American prize cars back-to-back. Ironically, though, talking about back-to-back wins, I won this one, and I won the next one, too. September 1st, 2019, ×5 US 4-wheel drive. I did win it, and the location was Central Park, New York City. This one was pretty cool, just because it was an American requirement. It's been a long time since we saw an American requirement. So I was really excited for this, and I was really happy that I won this one, actually, BMW M4 GTS. And this was my hand. I'm pretty sure the only legendary you could have used was the Acura NSX, and it wasn't even like a game changer in this event, if I remember correctly. Like the Chevrolet Murray was huge, and the Trailblazer SS was huge as well. Next up is the Moby Dick. Yep, this wasn't what I meant by back-to-back, though, but I did win this too. I guess you can say that I won 3 cars back-to-back. September 6th, 2019, it was a weekly challenge. I forgot my hand for that, though. It was a long challenge. Austin's, basically. Next is the Roof CTR3 Club Sport. Now, this was what I meant by back-to-back, because I won this one ×5 US 2000s. And do I remember my hand? Yes, I do. It was a Cadillac 16, Ford GT, Corvette Z06. Now, I did have 2 Ford GTs at the time, but having the Z06 maxed out was more beneficial. Trailblazer, once again, won me 2 prize cars, by the way. That was the best car to use. There was no Durango at the time, and it's not like the Durango's 2000s anyway. And the Pontiac Touring GXP. Next up now, how long is this video going to be? I have no idea. It might be very long. Next one is the Porsche 911 GT1 road car, September 29th, 2019, ×5 UK 1990s. Did not win that. And of course, the first time, the Audi Quattro S1. I think this was when Italian Renaissance dropped. ×5 Alfa Romeo, and made you use the new Alfa Romeos that came with Italian Renaissance. October 13, 2019. I just remember I was at Whole Foods doing something when the update when the event ended. I think I was just shopping for groceries. Yeah, there you go. October 27, 2019. Time Swipe Italian Renaissance, 2 times Maserati. Fun fact, pissed off my date. I remember this actually. She was like, why are you not watching? And I was like staring at the screen, opening the carbon fiber. I got an Epic from this one, but it was a crappy little like Maserati Ghibli or something, so I fused it away. Next up now is going to be the Peugeot. We don't need to care about that. Yeah, the 5x5 Lamborghini for that is just common. That's an insult, man. Next one is November 24th, 2019. x5 Volkswagen, awarded for the worst requirements of 2019. Yeah, I agree with that. McLaren P1 GTR, end of the year, or beginning of the end of 2019. Beginning of the end of my life, by the way, because 2020 was when the pandemic hit and everything just fell to shit for me. McLaren P1 GTR, x5 Italian 2010s. Did I win it? No. Fun fact, I didn't have a single Epic Lambo then. Yep, my first Epic and above Lamborghini came in January of 2020. December 8th, 2019. Requirements were 5 times German Renaissance 4-wheel drive. It was for the Sesto Elemento. I was in top 10 until 2 hours to go. I remember this one pretty vividly as well. I was in the same bracket with DJL, if you remember who DJL is. He quit the game a long time ago. M8 GTE was the first prize car of 2020. This is where I became not a pay-to-win, but a semi-pay-to-win. There's a difference. There's semi-pay-to-win, pay-to-win, shark, and whale, right? So yeah, January 5th, 2020, it was 5 times 2010 rear-wheel drive convertibles. No, but the qualifiers was fun. It was muscle cars x5. I tier 1 that one, and that was on my birthday. The qualifiers ended on my birthday. Next was the Vauxhall. No one really cares about that one. Lamborghini Huracan Performante. This is when GE dropped one of the best updates, or the best update in Top Drive's history. February 2nd, 2020, 5 times Lotus. I did win this, and now we're gonna see a lot of winnings. This is when I moved to Singapore in 2020. Lotus 211 Supercharged, 2 265Es, Lotus Evora 280, and a Lotus 340R. Moving on is the big one, probably the best release of 2020, and it came early. February 16, 2020, x5 GE. I did win this, and this was my collection, the hand that won it. Bentayga W12, my Lotus Evora, which is almost max, 21 out of 24 upgrades. It is 6. What's the upgrade on this? 669, I believe. Lotus Exige 265E, maxed out from the last Tri-Series final. A Max Continental GT Speed Coupe and a Max Land Rover Works. Now, all the hands that you see from now on for all the cars that I win, if it's Epic or below, they are all max. I do not win cars with 2-star Epics. March 1st, 2020 was the first rerun for the 787B. It was 5 times 1990s Italians, and yep, the first rerun of 2020. Moving on was the LC2, was x5 Jaguar, and a fun fact, because I add fun facts when I don't win the car, I've unpacked all GE Jags aside from the TWR. Yeah, that is true. Next up was the rerun of the MG Metro, and yes, I had a lot of fun with this one. This made up. This made up for the Porsche came on, because I did not win that, but by this time I had the ACR, I had Hollywood and Bollywood, and I had 3 SRT Hellcats. Yes, I owned this one. This was probably some of the most fun I've had in Top Drives. Moving on now was the Super Banana, April 12, 2020. It was x5 Bentley, and I did not remember my hand. And then it was the rerun for the Challenger, SRT Demon, 5 times Aston Martin. I've already won it, which is a bit of a shame, because I really wanted to ace a x5 Aston Martin final. I had a really good Aston Martin hand. I had 3 Epics max before a Tri-Series. Usually you max the Epics for a Tri-Series, so I was already going into this Owner's Challenge really hot. But yeah, it was just some trash aerial atom from my owner, so nothing too special about that. Moving on, May 10, 2020 was the Lamborghini Urus x5 German, 2010 to 2014. I did win this. The MVP was a Porsche GT2 RS. By the time this had won me, I think 2 prize cars or 3 prize cars, something like that. And it was 122. And then my Porsche 911 Turbo was 112. My Audi RS6 was max, 750D was max, and the 330D, I mean, oh, come on, Chief, of course it was maxed. So yeah, Urus, big win, really happy with that. Then it was the rerun for the SCG. MVP, really wanted this. Yeah, not owning this still haunts me to this day. Convertibles, I'm not very strong with convertibles. Then it was the 177. This was the introduction of the legendary challenges, silver screen, May 28, 2020. MVP was indeed pack RNG. Yeah, because yep, all I could pull was the Challenger SRT Hellcat. I guess that the 5 challengers redeemed themselves from the Porsche final as well, because they won me one of my favorite Aston Martin before the DBS Superleggera dropped. And then next up was the MC12 Stradale. This was Times 5 Land Rover. This was the one where uncommons were competitive in, because like that uncommon Land Rover that's a rare now. I can't remember what it's called, the Defender or Discovery. Yeah, that was super useful. But you still needed like some pretty good epics for that, I think. And I think prize cars were required for that. Like you could use prize cars in that. June 21st, 2020 was the rerun for the Corvette ZR1. I did win it. It was Cadillac times 5, and this was my hand. It was very strong. Cadillac 16 that I had at 2 stars. ATSV, CTSV, both 1 star. The Almirage, which was max. I actually got rid of that, surprisingly. Oh, you know what? Because the Almirage was, I think it was ultra rare at the time. Now it's epic. And then of course the Cadillac XLR-V. Moving on was the Lancia S4 Rally. This is a really good one that I wish I won, but once again it's convertible, and I was never good at convertibles. So July 5th, 2020 Super Day was Chicken Noodle. That just letting you guys know. July 9th, 2020 was Times 5 Call of the Wild. MVP was indeed Hollywood. I don't remember the entire hand that won me the final round, but I definitely remember that there was a Max Bollywood and a Max Hollywood. So we had to give them some love, right? Bugatti Veyron 16.4 was next. July 19th, 2020 it was a rerun. Times 5 Italian rear wheel drive. My entire hand I forgot, but I did use the Pagani C12 in that. Next up was the Aero Aston 500 V8. Now August 2nd, this was when I moved from Singapore to Malaysia. 5 times GR Coupes that I wouldn't know, but it had a compressor in it. I just remember that. Next up was the 959 Dakar rerun. 5 times UK 4-wheel drives. Did I win it? Absolutely not. Then it was the Senna. I think this was the introduction of, yes, European Revolution, the worst update in Top Drive's history. June 21st, 2020, that's wrong, I think. Sorry about that, wrong date. But yes, I did win it, the Peugeot 207, and this was my hand. It was all epics, but they were all max bar 1. The Spiker C8 was not maxed. So yeah, that one was not maxed. That was an outlier, but everything else was maxed. Moving on now is going to be the Pagani Huayra, September 23rd. I think what I meant to say from the last one was not June, but July. That's why. Requirements, times 5 around the world. Did I win it? Yes, the MVP was the Malibu. Yep, you could have used the Malibu in the final round of the challenge, which was pretty funny. I used the Cayman, the Monte Carlo, the Evora, Bentayga, and the Malibu. 2 of these cars won me the Chiron as well, fun fact. So that's pretty cool. Now was the rerun of September 12. This is not the rerun of September 12. I guess it was the 2020 of rerun of September 12. But yeah, also the rerun of the Dodge Viper GTSR. MVP was Bossek, and of course Pops. If it wasn't for Pops, man, I would have not won the GTSR. I got Bossek, maxed it. Volvo S80 max. Everything here was just max. It was one hell of a hand. I ended first place in my bracket. Next up on the list was the Aventador SVJ, September 27, 2020. Requirements were 5 times GR Saloons. I won it, and the MVP was indeed the M3 CS. I had the Phaeton, the CC. Another outlier. My CC was not maxed. It's still not maxed. I have it 112, and it's still 112, but everything else was maxed. Moving on. Oh, wait, no. My second M3 CS was actually not maxed, so I had 2 unmaxed epics in that. Okay, so unless I specify, the epics are maxed. Unless I specify that it's not maxed. Now, next one was the rerun for the GTR Nismo. I did not win this. It was Italian Saloons. 2020's winner for the first worst wreck. Yes, I do agree. That was the one where it was like 1 legendary, 3 epics, and like 3 ultra rares. That was hectic. Next was October 25th. MVP was indeed Uncle, I will never forget you for this. He tried to give me a couple of wins for the RTR to get me the car, but fell just short, obviously 11th. But he tried, and I have much respect for that. He didn't even need to. I didn't even ask for it at that point. 5 times GE 2000s, DBS. Oh, at least I didn't think I asked for it. It doesn't seem like me to ask for it, especially for an RTR, a prize car which is like not the level of Dodge. DBS V12, V12 Vantage, 265, and the S1. Both those 265 won me the Huracan Performante prior, but only one was maxed. The other one wasn't. But the S1 was maxed. The V12 Vantage was maxed, but the DBS V12 was not maxed. It was 112. Now, moving on now was the Vulcan, October 29th, 2020. It was 5 times Ride of the Valkyries. I did win it, and the MVP was in the peer pressure. If you do remember, I was peer pressured to open a carbon. I was 1 car away from winning this. I was peer pressured into opening a carbon where I got the Gumpert Apollo Basic, and then it won me the Vulcan. So that was crazy days. That. Next was the Continental GT3, November 6th, 2020, times 5 Peugeot. Obviously, I didn't win it because it was Peugeot. But, you know, like I said, Peugeot at the last lap. Their pack is amazing now. And then it was the rerun of the Suzuki Pikes Peak. This one I definitely won. 5 times ER, 3 times rest of the world. I had an insane hand for this one. I mean, it was a Max Agera. It was a 1-star CCR, Max S80, Max E-Legend, and the V90 T6 getting another prize card for me. Next up on the list was the Skigera. No one really cares about that. Yeah, I won it. Okay, for sure. Whatever. Next up was December 6th, 2020. It was a Bugatti's on the Revolution times 5 2015 to 2019 SUVs. My MVP was the XC40 all-wheel drive. What made it so special was that the XC40 all-wheel drive was just so light, and it was like a sleeper on the motocross track. Now, I know what you were thinking. Why isn't the I-Pace the MVP? The I-Pace is good, but everybody has it max, so the I-Pace just draws with each other. But that was a really good prize car. I would say that the Zonda Revolution and the Bugatti Chiron Sport were some of the best cars that they came out in 2020. Next up, McLaren P1. I did not win that one. And then, this is my winnings of 2020. So these were the cars that I won, as you can see here. Yeah, I would say that the best ones given out were indeed the Zonda Revolution and the Chiron Sport. You can make an argument for the Pikes Peak, but these were the cars I won. My favorite winning, though, of 2020 was probably the GTSR. No, not probably. It is. Or the 177. One or the other. Now we move on to 2021. January 1st, 2021. The first prize car. It was times 5 Christmas collection. I did win it. MVP was a Tipo 33 Strade just because, you know, it was such a low RQ car, but it managed to fit and won me the car. Next was the introduction of American Frontier. Well, not really the introduction of American Frontier. American Frontier was in the game for about a month now. But now, or less than a month, maybe a couple of weeks. January 3rd, 2021, times 5 AF, and I did win the 1-1. What did I say that with a V pronunciation? 1-1. Viper TA, Syracuse, maxed. Everything here was maxed. Loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. Godly final. Next up, Subaru Speed 12, 5 times American Frontier Dodge. I won this one too. This was the hand that I used. Everything here was max. Everything. Every single thing was max. I love my American Frontier cars. Just American cars in general. Peugeot 205, times 5 in the shadows, January 21st, 2021. And the MVP was in the Blitzegg. Blitzegg and 2 DBS Carbon Blacks. The second one was Drag Spec, if you remember that one. And I fused it away infamously. 030 and a Dockavort D8 Cosworth. Next up is the Alpha 164 Pro car, one of the best cars awarded this year, in my opinion. The 164 Pro car is up there with the Jesko, the FAP, and the IDR. Fantastic. January 31st, 2021, times 5, 2004 rear-wheel drive. I did win it. The MVP was the Cadillac 16. Those Vipers won me a lot of prize cars, by the way. Oh my goodness, yeah, American Frontier Acura. Fun fact though, there is a Spider named after Barack Obama. It's called Barack Obama. I think it is. Just search it up. There is actually a Spider named after Barack Obama. President Barack Obama, or ex-president, previous president. Next up is the February 28, 2021 Bentley Honodier, times 5 2006. I did win this. This was the hand that I used. And fun fact, that was the absolute best hand you could get, that you could make in terms of getting unique cars, because that was like, you know, the best twisty, the best medium ground clearance, the best fast car was the Apollo. It was the best hand that you could make in terms of unique cars. If you had duplicates, then obviously, yeah, 3 maxed out Gumpert Apollos, 1 Donkey, and 1 BMW would have been better. But in terms of unique cars, that was the best hand that you could have made. I ended first place in that one. Next was the Gumpert Apollo R, times 5 American Concepts in March. I did win this one as well, and the MVP was the Viper GTSR. This was one of a full-blown pay to win, by the way. You can see that I won a lot of prize cars in 2021. XJR9, this was my lowest point. This was a prize car that I really, really wanted. Most of the time, when I really want a prize car and I open a lot of packs, I do get it because, you know, I max things out and I go all in. But this one, this was just an L. This is just an L. I couldn't get this one. I got 11th place. This was the hand I had. Everything besides the Lamborghini was max. But the Murcielago had an upgrade in it. It was 112, man. But yeah, did not win it. So that sucks. No, not 112. It was 121. Sorry. Next up, BMW M3 GTR times 5 Yodo won this one as well. You could use the prize car. So I did use the 177, the Skigera, and the Vit. That's 3 prize cars. Yo, that's crazy, actually. Pagani's on the rerun was next. It was times 5 Hog Garbage. Fun fact, least relevant tire season 2021. Yeah, honestly. It was a crap prize car with crap requirements. Who wanted that? April 25th, 2021. I already had this one. My first Tri-Series prize. Yep, ×5 2009 were the requirements. Next up was the Yesco Absolute. I'm ranking this up there with some of the best cars given out in 2021. Requirements was ×5 pre-2004 seaters. I did win this, and the MVP was the Roof RCT because the maxed out 959 was winning jacked for me. Oh yeah, this entire hand was maxed. 2 max legendaries in one hand. I really wanted the Yesco, man. So did a lot of other people, like everyone else basically. May 23rd, 2021 brought in the rerun for the ME412. Won this one too, the Apollo Basic CTR3, the FR500, 211 Supercharged, and the 265E. I think the thing has won me like what, 3 prize cards now? June 5th, 2021 was the first ever GT series. This was when I was going through a depression. I think this is the first time I've actually told anyone that I was going through depression during this period, at least publicly, as some people knew, but not a lot of people. Now you know. I'll probably make a video about that later when I want to donate to some kind of depression charity. I plan to do that during Christmas time. June 5th, 2021, ×5 German 2010 to 2014. I did not win that. My favorite moisturizer is Jack Black. That's a fun fact for you. Next up was the Lancia LC2 rerun. It was 5 times 2015. June 20th, 2021, yes, I won it, and the MVP was the Aventador SV. I had to upgrade in that. I also had the upgrade in the Huracan. I think the SV was 122, Huracan was 121, and then everything else was maxed. Now, moving on is the Peugeot 908 HDI. Yes, this I wanted. Awarded on Independence Day, 3 times 2000, 2 times 2002. Yes, I won it, and the MVP was my maxed out Pagani Zonda S. Everything you see here was maxed. The Audi RS4 was speed maxed as well. I really, really wanted this prize car. The HDI Fab really wanted that. One of the best prize cars given out this year, without a doubt. July 18, 2021, we saw the last prize car before the long drought of nothing before JPT. So yes, I did win this. 3 Aston Martin Rapide S, an XC Dynamic S, and a Jaguar X-Type. Yeah, I got lucky. Yeah, I got like a European level final bracket for this one, dude. This one was lucky. You can be mad at me for this one. Did I deserve to win the P1 GTR? Absolutely not. I mean, my hand was hot garbage, as you can see, but it was all maxed, and hey, the Aston Martin Rapide S, you know, it was beating a couple of epics, so I'll take it. Moving on now was the September 21st. Yeah, we had that long period of just nothing, right? So we have ×5 Call of the Wild 2, and yeah, we could choose between the Sienna, the Stradale, and the Carrera GT, and I chose the Carrera GT. Moving on was July 20. Oh, sorry, this was out of order. I should have put the yeah, I should put this one first, and then this one. My bad. July 25th, 2021, ×5 UK, 2010s to 2021s that are under RQ91. Very interesting requirements. I did win this with a pretty godly hand as well. The 2-star, almost maxed out Evora Sport, the Exige Cup, my 2-star McLaren 12C, the Caterham 7620, and the Aston Martin CC100. I wanted to win this. I wanted the Ram. This was the key car to get. That was a Raptor killer, if I say so myself. August 7, 2021, we saw the Chevrolet Corvette Z06. It was ×5 Italy plus a token. I forgot my winning hand for that though. It had something to do with like 90s to 60s Italian or something. And then it was the Bentley Continental, ×5 2016. This wasn't even a Tri-Series MVP. Yo, okay, I'm gonna be real with you. Anytime I can use the Viper ACR, it's always gonna be MVP. No matter what, even if it isn't MVP, I'm gonna give it MVP because it's Hollywood. So Dodge Viper ACR Hollywood, my Donk Fort, King Donk, 650S GT3, the 6CT6, and the Subaru Legacy when it used to be good. And then it was the third coming of the BMW M3 GTS, which I was able to win again. And that was the hand that I used, just a bunch of American Frontier stuff and 2 non-American Frontier cars. And then this is the best prize car, hands down, given out in 2021 so far. 905B might give it a run for its money, but this is the best prize car given out in 2021. It is indeed the Volkswagen IDR Pikes Peak, ×5 90s, Japan, 2 times JPT. I did not win this. Fun fact, my max amounts of push-ups in one day was 500. That is true. Very proud of that. I've injured my wrist and I can't do that ever again, but I can still brag about it. Next up, September 26, 2021, times 5 JPT. Of course, your boy had to win this. The Dodge Viper SRT10 ACRX. Yes, I won it. Subaru Legacy BW was the MVP, and this is my hand. Everything was maxed. But yeah, that Legacy, man. The Legacy BW, if you won this and you won the 918, you know that ultra rare is not an ultra rare. That thing is a legendary in disguise. And then, of course, we had the Summer Games Challenge awarded September 28, 2021. I did win this, and yeah, fun fact, literally everybody chose the Dakar. If you didn't have the Dakar, you chose the Dakar. And then we have the Ford GTX1, October 9, 2021, times 5 front engine hatchbacks. Did not win this. My first Top Drives video recorded in the bathroom. Yep, you heard that earlier on the video, in this very, very long video. And then now we have the Porsche 918 Spider with 5 times JPT Saloons. Fun fact, the owner's prize was an RQ92 Pagani Huayra. I think that's the final. Yep, that is the final one. The MC12 is just a placeholder. I made this before the 905B was announced. But anyway, that's every prize car up till now. And now we have the 905B challenge. So I don't know how long this video is. It might be a feature film at this point. But I hope you enjoyed this history lesson. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you have a great Halloween. And I'll see you all next time. Blossom out. Peace.